Hello and a very good afternoon to all of those joining me live on the News9 digital page. I'm Neha. Thank you for joining me. PDP Chief Mehbooba Mufti was released from detention after nearly 14 months as the Jammu and Kashmir government revoked Public Safety Act charges against her. The former Chief Minister, soon after her release, vowed to fight against the centre and said what was illegally, undemocratically and unlawfully snatched from us will have to be taken back. Now, she released an audio on her Twitter account soon after her release and shared a message for the people of Kashmir in which she said that she has been thinking about quote-unquote cruel decision taken by the centre of abrogating Article 370. Mehbooba's daughter Iltija also thanked the people for their support and said her mother Mufti's of course illegal detention finally comes to an end and that she owes a debt of gratitude to all. An order issued by the Home Secretary stated, quote-unquote, in exercise of the powers conferred under Section 19, subsection 1 of the Jammu and Kashmir Public Safety Act 1978, the government hereby revokes the detention order of Mehbooba Mufti with immediate effect. Do remember, Mehbooba Mufti will now be addressing a press conference on Friday in which she is expected to launch an all-out attack against the central government over the abrogation of Article 370, which she claims wounded her soul. Now to, in fact, speak more about this, joining me over the phone line is senior journalist Aditya Rajkol. Thank you very much, Mr. Aditya, first of all, for taking out some time and speaking to News9. Aditya, do tell us, Mehbooba Mufti has been released from detention after nearly 14 months and the first thing she says is August 5, the abrogation of Article 370 is a black day and the central government will have to give back what was snatched. Your reaction on it?
Well, Neha, firstly, I would say that it's a welcome decision that Mehbooba Mufti has been released because I firmly believe that, democratic values and, the enshrined principles of the Constitution need to be there in letter and spirit. And yes, there could have been some security measures that led to the detention of Mehbooba Mufti and several other political leaders. But gradually, I also had, sent out appeals and also, was of the firm belief that political leaders need to be released because there need to be elections in this union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Having said that, I firmly do not stand with any kind of rhetoric of, separatism or anti-national statements such as these. I don't think that Article 370 abrogation was any kind of a black day, but it was a welcome, day, and it was a departure from the past separatism and the kind of alienation that PDP and the National Conference really benefited from over the years. I firmly believe that Mehbooba Mufti is at a crossroad of history. She will have to now firmly decide whether she stands for separatism, whether she stands for her illogical anti-national statements and venomous statements of the past, or does she in fact choose Indian democracy? Does she choose to in fact be a part of the Indian democracy? And yes, fair enough, criticize BJP, criticize the central government. You have all right to do it, but those who call her detention illegal are entirely wrong. I would tell you why. If her detention was illegal, the Supreme Court of India, the highest judicial body of the Indian, Republic of India, would have intervened. Supreme Court was hearing several petitions concerning the detention of political leaders and also of the internet that was shut. Supreme Court did not intervene at all. That does mean that even the Supreme Court perhaps felt that the Indian government or the Indian security agencies were right in detaining some of these political leaders. But yes, it would be interesting to see what Mehbooba Mufti has to say on Friday. Again, as I said, the ball is in her court. She will have to decide the future that she chooses. Will she be mature and smart like her father and choose to stay with the Indian democracy, or will she turn into a separatist? Only future will reveal.
All right. Aditya, do tell us, what would have really prompted BJP to end the detention all of a sudden after over a year? Is it because of what Supreme Court also observed in this case?
Well, yes, there was certainly a lot of pressure, not just from the Supreme Court of India, but from several other political leaders across the country. Because let's remember that Mehbooba Mufti is the former Chief Minister and Chief of a regional political party, PDP. And of course, it's an important political party. In fact, BJP in itself was in alliance with the PDP in the previous government in Jammu and Kashmir, which was called North Pole and South Pole Alliance. So yes, there would have been tremendous pressure. but one doesn't know what really transpired because, earlier we saw the release of Farooq Abdullah, Omar Abdullah and several other political leaders, including Sajad Lone. And thereafter, just weeks later, we see Mehbooba Mufti also coming out. Yesterday, the J&K government and the J&K police confirmed to me that no, not a single political leader now is under detention and all have been released. So it will be interesting to see how things unfold in future because, yes, I do, know that the BJP government as a center and the Ministry of Home Affairs does want conducive elections at some point of time in J&K, perhaps next year. Will it happen under union territory? Will the PDP and the National Conference contest these elections? Only future will reveal. But, in the past, Mehbooba Mufti has had an image where she was known for very, very provocative statements. She was the one who said that, not a single shoulder will be left in Jammu and Kashmir to unfurl the Indian tricolour. Well, it's been more than a year after 370 abrogation, and we see not one, but hundreds and thousands and lakhs of shoulders who are waving the tricolour. All the government buildings in J&K have the Indian tricolour. There's no question of having a separate state flag or any other flag in Jammu and Kashmir. So that's the reality that Mehbooba Mufti will have to live with, and she needs to realize that while she has a right to campaign for the statehood of Jammu and Kashmir, which is a very sensible and legal demand. But Article 370 is a thing of the past, and her so-called, autonomy or self-determination demand is something that belongs to the dustbin of the past. Right. And isn't something that the people of J&K will stand by.
Right, but Aditya, the question is what will happen now and what has really changed on the ground that has led BJP to release all these leaders? Are the waters really calm in the valley?
Well, Neha, BJP has been under considerable pressure as well, because initially they were under an alliance with the PDP, which was very much criticized not just by the opposition but people from across India as well because of the compromises that were made. We know for sure that there were so many stone pelters, who were arrested and then released because of Mehbooba Mufti and PDP-BJP government in Jammu and Kashmir. And finally, a lot of disturbance, a lot of heated arguments between PDP and BJP led to the breakup of that particular alliance. And finally, governor's rule. And now we see, of course, it's been almost 14 months since the abrogation of Article 370. The BJP has been under considerable pressure to, see some kind of results in Jammu and Kashmir. On one hand, yes, they have a Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, very honest and upright man at the helm of affairs there, who has been trying to initiate a political dialogue and also, work for the development of Jammu and Kashmir. But what people really want to see is one, a complete restoration of internet, and when exactly will the elections really take place in Jammu and Kashmir for a smooth and future course of action. That's why the BJP has had to release Mehbooba Mufti, because that was inevitable. It was imminent. It had to happen someday, and it has happened today. But it has to be seen whether Mehbooba Mufti and Farooq Abdullah, NC and PDP, contest the forthcoming elections that might happen sometime next year, or what exactly will be the political course that these leaders will really take.
Lastly, Aditya, would you be able to tell us why leaders like Farooq Abdullah and Mehbooba Mufti are so worried over the abrogation of Article 370? What are they concerned about the most? Is it really the welfare of people at all?
Well, I personally don't think so. My personal opinion has been that Article 370 was in fact a hurdle, Neha, for the development of Jammu and Kashmir, for the welfare of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And I think the abrogation of 35A and 370 both has helped not just the women folk, not just the Valmikis, but I think each and every person in Jammu and Kashmir. Now, of course, the ball is in the court of both the BJP and these regional leaders also. For BJP, central government, because they will have to prove that, development is the future and development is the key, and how they plan that development route for Jammu and Kashmir would be interesting. And secondly, for these regional political leaders, the rhetoric of the past is past. They will have to look towards a new future. A new political course correction also is need of the hour, because the rhetorical statements that have come recently, Farooq Abdullah also saying that China should help in the restoration of Article 370 is something of the past. And, these provocative statements are not going to help. You make a statement in Kashmir, then you change that statement when you come to Jammu, and in Delhi you sing a different tune. These things are not going to work. the kind of hypocrisy that these regional political leaders have shown the common Kashmiris or the common citizens of Jammu and Kashmir needs to change. They need to realize that development, better healthcare, better education, and of course restoration of each and every rightful demand of the common people is the future. And these rhetorical statements, anti-national statements, are not going to help either the ruling party or the opposition.
Right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Aditya, for joining us with all of those details. Whether you heard this senior journalist, he says that the rhetoric is certainly not going to help. In fact, the Article 370 has been largely welcomed. Do remember that Mehbooba Mufti, along with a few other political personalities, were placed under detention on the 5th of August last year, the day Article 370 was revoked by the central government. Leaders like Farooq Abdullah have also expressed their unhappiness against the central government over the decision of revoking the special status given to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And as of now, all eyes are on the press conference that will be held by Mehbooba Mufti on Friday. Thank you very much for joining me. If at all you like this video, do not forget to subscribe News9 Digital. Stay safe. Take care.